Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes Coons as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet.
Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad. My name is Wes Coons, and this is our 1-year birthday anniversary episode. Welcome back to the show, and I have been planning this for a minute, and the honest answer is I couldn't come up with anything to think of that I wanted to talk about until today. In divine timing, the universe spoke to me, and I just want to say thank you before we get into that. This year's been crazy. As I've shared on the show before, I did not want to do the podcast. And that's because I was scared to go through that process of telling that story because it was freaking painful, right? I've had so many people reach out. Thank you for being kind. Thank you for being considerate. And it's been a crazy journey. I can't believe it's been a year already. So happy birthday to us, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something, and I hope I've given you encouragement, because at the end of the day, this podcast has helped heal me, and I know it's helped heal a lot of people because you've reached out and told me, so thank you. So I was looking at the statistics today, and we're in 42 of the states, which is... I gotta be honest, I don't know, I'm a little surprised. I'm like, that's cool. And it's hard to tell how far around the world we've touched. I know of at least 28 countries that the podcast shows through the statistics, but there's a lot more. There's a lot of data there that's not clear. So it's fun. And thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. And I was reflecting on my trip to Florida this last week, and I got to see my little girl get engaged. That story was fun. And then, of course, the car hitting the water and splashing my sister. She's still upset about that. But it was funny. Everybody's like, well, how did you not get wet? I'm like, dude, I'm holy and spiritual. I don't know. I was divinely protected, so I didn't get wet. But somebody asked me today, how was it seeing my ex-wife? And I was thinking about that, and I said, that's what I'm going to talk about in my episode today. I'm going to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness sets us free. When we get wrapped up in our mind, in a relationship with somebody, and they betrayed us, they broke our heart, they did whatever they did. And then when it's over, we're reliving that moment over and over. And I experienced this a lot last year, but of course I experienced that when I went through my divorce too, but that was 13 years ago. So I've healed from that, and I'm so grateful. When I was down in Florida, the nice thing is I was able to be present. I wasn't caught up in my mind. I wasn't thinking in negative thoughts. So I got to enjoy being in the room with my entire family, even though we're not, quote unquote, a family anymore. But she is the mother of my children, and I respect her for that, and I love her for that. And I want her to have a beautiful life. I couldn't honestly say those things if I haven't forgiven her, and more importantly, forgiven me, because it takes two to tango, right? So when we go through that breakup, and it hurts so bad, your soul aches for that person, your heart aches for that person, and you're reliving all the different moments through your mind, what you're actually doing is re-energetically connecting yourself to that person, and you're telling the universe, hey, these are the thoughts that I have. These are the words that I have. Send me more. And the universe says, hey, Wes, Susie, Becky, whomever, we're going to grant that gift to you and we're going to send them prettier. We're going to send them more handsome. We're going to send them more cunning. We're going to send them more something, but it's the same person with a different face. See, the reality is that last relationship, that person wasn't your person. That person's face actually has the trauma that you haven't healed, has a picture of the last person you dated on top of it. Does that make sense? When we heal what's going on inside of us and we look at the lessons that have been placed in front of us. For example, let's say the person cheated you. Let's say the person lied and cheated. Well, you may not have lied to them, so to speak, and may not have cheated in the relationship, but where do you lie to yourself? Where do you cheat yourself? So the reflection of that person is lying and cheating. The universe says, hey, you lie and cheat yourself, so I'm going to bring somebody in that lies and cheats. When you start looking at your life, having forgiveness, being self-aware, and looking at the reflections that are showing up in front of you at a very, very deep level, you learn how to heal just like that. It doesn't mean it's not going to hurt, because it's going to hurt for a little bit. But what might have taken some people years, you could do in a couple weeks or maybe a few months. And even if it takes longer than a few months, if you're looking at why did that person come into my life? Why am I attracting the same energy over and over and over? The answer to that question is you're not healing that stuff. You're not doing the deep dive. So one of the things that I like to do is when I'm trying to heal from something, I get out a sheet of paper and I write down everything I experienced in that relationship that I want to change. And then I systematically go one at a time and figure out, when did the energy of, I don't know, let's pick a good one, being unworthy show up? Maybe it was your 6th birthday like it was for me. My 6th birthday, I had no friends there. I had a decent-sized family, and my mom and dad, and they put on a beautiful birthday party, but I didn't have any friends. I didn't feel worthy. So I closed my eyes. I went back to that time period, visualized that backyard, visualized that party, and I walked over and talked to little Wesley. I said, hey, buddy, what are you doing? And I could hear me talk back, and I'm like, well, I'm sad. Why are you sad? Well, I don't have any friends here, and people pick on me. Okay, well, can I sit next to you? And then we talk, right? We have a fluid conversation. And when I was first told to do this, I'm like, this is just crazy, but it works. And you'll hear yourself talk back to yourself. So I sat down with that little boy and I'm like, I'd like to be your friend. Do you think anybody would pick on you if I'm here? And he's like, oh, no, 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 no. And then I felt like he wanted to sit on my lap. I said, do you want to sit on my lap? And he crawled on my lap. And we talked a little bit and I told him, I said, I love you. And I just want to say thank you for holding the energy for me this whole time of unworthiness so I can come back and heal that. And he's like, oh, you're welcome. And all of a sudden he says, hey, do you want some cake? I'm like, yeah, let's get some cake. And he jumped off my lap and all of a sudden he faded away. I've done that in other instances where I've actually held his hand and walked and came back to this time period today with him, or absorbed him back inside of me and just held him and told him I loved him. And all of a sudden he just faded back inside. If you want to heal some things, do that. It will make a difference. I don't feel unworthy anymore. That energy does not show up for me anymore. It changes things. So In this last relationship last year, I made this list. When I was married, I made the list. And I didn't go to my ex and say, hey, I forgive you for blah, 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 blah. She don't care, right? But I said it out loud and I forgave her. Then at some point, I forgave me. Forgiveness doesn't give them a free ride. Forgiveness doesn't mean what you did was right. I don't need to be right. I don't need to be in control. I need to let go. And when I forgive somebody, and when you forgive somebody, you're cutting the energetic cord connection between you, and it allows you to rewrite your story. Because the story you've been telling yourself is the story that you went through of all the betrayals, all the things that happened, the mistakes that you made, the things that you did, the things they did. Stop. You don't need to know why. You don't need to have the answer. You know the real reason why it's happening is because you had a soul contract with that person. And I like to think about it like this. That person loved me so much when we were in heaven and we created this contract, we created the dynamics that we were going to go through, that person loved me so much they came here and they hurt me. And maybe I hurt them. We completed our soul contract. They moved on. Now it's my job to learn the lessons, to heal from it, raise my vibration, and move forward, becoming the person that I agreed to become when I was created, and following my soul contract. Once you start going through that process, the blessing that they gave you is they showed you the energy of, let's say, betrayal. So in that scenario, the energy of betrayal feels a certain way. They acted a certain way. It feels a certain way. So what they're doing is giving you a roadmap. So you heal that, right? And as you move down the road and start dating somebody else or meeting other people, when you've done the healing work and you spend some time talking to people, you don't jump in the sack and have sex in 2 days, you give it a couple months, right? Some of y'all are like, I ain't doing that. May I suggest that you wait a while? Texting doesn't build relationships. Here's what texting does. You can text me, I can pause for a couple minutes, think of something super witty, and send it back. And we're having this really cool conversation, but that's not real. Because in a real scenario, when you and I are talking, I don't have a couple minutes to respond. So you're not building a relationship with that person. Getting on the phone and using your words and hearing what they're saying builds a relationship. You're connecting with them, you're hearing them, you're feeling their vibration. So do yourself a favor. Connect that way. Listen. Pay attention. Because the roadmap is laid out for you. And when the energy of the same person shows up again, because it will, you have a choice. You can sit there and say, you know what? Not today, Satan, and go down the road a different direction. Or you can make a choice and say, hey, I haven't learned this lesson yet. So I'm going to go down this road again and date the same person. Don't worry. If you do like I've done, and I've done that many times, God's going to be like, hey, no problem. Let's send you your greatest teacher. And that just means it's going to be really, really freaking painful, right? So we're going to fuck Wes up and let him relearn this lesson. Maybe he'll learn it one day. But I'm tired of learning the lessons the hard way. I'm paying attention to this stuff. Then I'm looking at, hey, I'm making these mistakes. I'm still doing these little things here and there. And everything's a reflection. One of my clients posted on Facebook that she keeps getting a flat tire going down a certain road. And I'm like, I drive down that road 3, 4 times a day. I've never gotten a flat tire. So I sent her a little message. I said, that flat tire is a reflection. Go Google the energetic meaning of having a flat tire. And the answer is basically not knowing your journey, not being on your path, right? So I don't, I don't know if she appreciated it. However, it's real. Eric told me one day, he said, hey, I noticed you got a crack in your windshield. I'm like, yeah, it's been there a minute. He says, well, when you're ready to heal that crack in your life, you'll replace that windshield. I'm like, really? Okay, Eric, let me go do that. And he's right. The day I got my windshield fixed, things shifted in my life. The crack in the windshield was a reflection of the crack that was in my life. Just a thought. Or you can just keep going down the same path you've been going on and just saying, I'm going to do it my way. Wes's way has been painful. Forgiveness, unconditional love, looking at the direct reflection of myself in everything I do. How the checkout person treats me at Harris Teeter, I pay attention to that. It's a reflection of me. So that person that hurt you loved you so much in heaven that they have on their chest everything that you need to heal. If you pay attention, they're actually doing you a service. So when I think about those people, I just say, hey, thank you for the lessons. And I wish them the absolute very best, because I do. Doesn't mean I want them in my life. Doesn't mean what they did was right, but I'm not going to be a victim. Victims don't heal. Forgiveness sets me free. Now, I've talked to some people and they said, I'm never going to forgive that person. Okay. I'm going to forgive them, but I'm not going to forget. If you want to stay in that energy, stay in that energy. I want to raise my vibration. I want to become everything I can become. So what do you want to do? What choice are you going to make? Because when you release the energy, the victim energy, you step into dominion. When you step into dominion, you start to manifest. When the words you say in your head, the words that come out of your mouth, what your heart wants are all on the same path, you manifest in a second. I was talking to one of our listeners this week, and she just manifested something really powerful. And I'm like, I said, look at that. Look how easily you manifested something. So congratulations. I think that's really cool. Everybody is a master at manifesting. You've manifested everything you have right now. And if it sucks, maybe you need to change your thinking. And if it's beautiful, good for you. Our word is so powerful. It will change everything in a moment. From good to bad, from bad to good, having an open heart, letting things go. A couple years ago, hell, honestly, 12 months ago, I probably would have bickered at that a little bit. But I am willing to change. I am willing to take responsibility for my actions. I am willing to understand that I am the problem and I am the solution. I do not look outside myself anymore. Because every time I do, I fall into victim energy. When I look within myself, I give it to God. Miracles happen all the time for me. All the time. I never realized how beautiful life could be. And I've searched for that for a very, very long time. Our energy is, our energy is everything. And I am so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful for my teachers. I'm so grateful for these lessons. I'm grateful for me. I am grateful that I showed up. I mean, one thing that I will say about myself is I show the fuck up and I do the work because I don't want to be who I was 20 minutes ago. Some people say, I don't want to be who I was 5 years ago. Well, me either, but I changed that quick. I am not the same person I was this morning. I healed some things. I learned some things. I paid attention. I reached out and apologized to somebody today. And he said, oh, the thing that you said to me, I didn't take it wrong. I'm like, well, you know what? It sat wrong with me. I just want you to know that I appreciate you. I respect you. I like you. And I feel like I spoke to you improperly. And I just want to say thank you. I needed to make my side of the street clean as possible because that's all I can do. Yeah, I was talking to Lakota one day and she said when she was a little girl, she crawled into this cave and she was doing this. I don't know what she was doing, man. She's doing some kind of ceremony, right? And she said this being came up to her and was having a conversation and she told her what she was doing there and it left her alone. And she said, then I lit a match and that single match lit the entire cavern of this cave. And she said it was like hundreds of feet round. It wasn't super bright, but the light always wins. The darkness, the things that haunt you only grow in the darkness. Speaking them to the light changes things. Writing them down changes things. Asking God to take it away changes things. And remember, open your heart to receive the blessing. Open your heart to receive the forgiveness that you've asked for. Stop asking forgiveness for the same thing you've asked forgiveness for days, weeks, months, even years. You've been forgiven. It's weird. Stop. You don't go to dad and say 77 times, sorry I was home late last week. Sorry I was home late 16 years ago. It's forgiven. See, I never realized I had to open my heart to receive the forgiveness. I stayed in victim energy and going back and saying, hey, remember, when I did X, Y, and Z? Could you forgive me? Because I haven't forgiven myself. So maybe you should forgive yourself. And I can appreciate when you sit there and say, I can't forgive myself. Well, maybe you should. Why don't you try that? Maybe today you can't, but maybe next week you can. Because at the end of the day, it was part of your soul contract. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't supposed to happen. And I understand we have free will. But there was a lesson there. There's an opportunity for growth there. There's an opportunity to become the beacon of light that you came here to be. And isn't it about time that you reach inside yourself and become that beacon of light? I think it is. I mean, I don't know about you. I struggle with that still. But I'm willing to talk about it. I'm willing to do something about it. I am willing to pray about it. I'm willing to do prayer ties about it. I'm willing to go to a ceremony and release it. I'm willing to talk to myself and go back and heal that inner child. I'm willing to do those things. This podcast is about how life happens for you, not to you. You are beautiful. You are gifted. You are loved. Every step you take raises your vibration. Every breath you take heals your body. Jesus flows through you to heal you, and together we heal the world. What are you saying to yourself? Maybe you can say this: I release the connection, cut the cords, void the energy of the person and the contract. I heal with every breath, and I attract unconditional love. I love myself unconditionally. My soul moves forward with ease, love, and grace. My divine path is clear, and I attract high vibration people who will help me on my divine path. And if you don't know how to word what you want to say to yourself and put it in the positive context that the universe will understand, reach out. VB Healer on Instagram, vbhealer.com, Virginia Beach Healer, VB Healer. Find me on YouTube. Hey, I tell you what, if you want to do a super powerful cord cutting ceremony, find me on YouTube at VB Healer. And there is probably a 3-minute video on there that I do a cord cutting. Watch that, save it, and like it. Guarantee it will cut the cords for you. You'll feel better. You'll feel lighter. And it's kind of fun to do. So it was the first healing I've done on video like that. I was a little nervous, but it's powerful and it works. So I just wanted to say thank you for listening again. Thank you for the 1-year birthday. Happy birthday to us. And I'm going to do my absolute very best to help you grow, to help you follow your soul contract. And I'm going to lead the pack by being vulnerable and sharing with you what I'm going through, because we see these people that are on podcasts or TV or whatever, and it's like, oh man, they've got it all together. They don't. So I want to share with you where I'm at, because I figure if I can do it, you can do it. I'm going to talk about the things that people might not want to talk about. I'm happy to put it out there because I know when I put it to the light, it doesn't grow anymore. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for listening to Enlightenment Unknown Life of a Spiritual Nomad.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.